everybody. So Life Lesson Friday for this Friday is making it to the end because that's where the winning is. So many people that I see, and this is especially with younger athletes that I work with, but I've seen this when I was managing businesses for other people, but I saw it both in my employees, but also with other people that were my peers, the managers that were my peers. I've seen it with athletes, like I said. I've seen it with super talented athletes that didn't get where they probably should have from a success level standpoint, is that they don't make it to the end. They cut out early. They don't make it to the end of practice. They don't make it to the end of the workday. They take every opportunity they can to take a shortcut. It's like the winning happens at the end, but it only happens at the end if you make it to the end. And so I know that sometimes the process of going through the training, the learning, the work, the stuff that nobody wants to do, the nuts and bolts of getting the stuff done. Nobody wants to sit down and write a 44-page paper or dissertation or home study or whatever it is that you've got to do, a project. Nobody loves to sit down and do that. What we love is what comes out on the other side of it, the finished product, being able to present that we worked our tail off and this is what came out of it. This was the outcome. That's the part that makes it worthwhile, right? Too many people give up in the middle. Too many people take shortcuts in the middle, and then they can't figure out why the success didn't happen at the level that they wanted it to. Maybe they were successful, but it wasn't as high or as where they wanted it to be, right? And so we have to remember that as much as that journey, those steps, those process, that planning, all of that studying, learning, time spent sometimes just outright sucks. It's worth it in the end when you make it to the end. And it's the only way to make it to the end. And sometimes there's things that happen in the middle, right? There's things that derail us. There's other projects that come up in the middle of the way. If we're an athlete, there's injuries and aches and pains and different things we have to deal with that come up in the way, right? And it's a matter of taking that all in stride, understanding that there's always going to be ups and downs. Success is not a linear line from point A to point B. So when we understand that, when we understand that the journey is the success, and we can dive into the journey and enjoy the pain that it brings and enjoy the turmoil that it brings and enjoy the disruption to our lives that it brings and enjoy the emotional ups and downs of the journey, then when we get to the outcome, we get to the end, it makes it that much sweeter. It makes it that much more of something that we can enjoy because we can look back at how much we put into it. And the only way that that happens is when we make it to the end. And if we stop along the way, we're going to look back and we're going to question what would have been different had I X? What would have been different had I stayed late on a couple of days? Had I done a couple of extra reps? Had I done a couple of more interviews for this paper? Like all of those things are going to be questions that if you did the work and if you put it in and if you made it to the end, those questions aren't going to come up. But that's where the winning happens. That's where the success happens. That's where the massive outcomes happen is when we make it to the end. And a lot of times the end actually doesn't come. And that's the beauty of life is that if you truly are working to become the best that you can be, the end never really comes. The end for a certain chapter may come. The end for a certain project may come. The end for a certain race that you're preparing for may come. But there's always more because it's going to tell you, oh, hey, I achieved this one. Now let's go to the next level. Now let's ramp it up. Now let's move forward with new goals. Let's see what else we can achieve because life is there to be lived. It's not there to reach the mountaintop and stop. It's there to be lived. It's there to do the next thing. It's there to always be striving for more. And the more that you do during the process to get to the end, the more you're going to look back and enjoy and have great things to think about and remember. And like, there won't be any dwelling on what could have been because it will be a fantastic life story to look back on. So, making it to the end is where the winning is. And don't shortcut yourself. Don't give up. Don't cut out pieces of the process that you know have to be there just because they're hard and difficult. So that's the Life Lesson Friday for today. I want to make sure that we all get to the end in a winning way. Whatever that winning way means for you, it's different for everybody. But the biggest piece is getting to the end and not regretting having not done something along the way. So that's the Life Lesson Friday for this week.